guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timmy Kemza James. For our new and old subscribers, you're all welcome to today's tutorial where I'm going to be showing you how to draft this really cute top. It has like a 3-layer of sleeve, and then it's a tie. It has like a tie side in the front of the top, so I felt this top is really cute, so why not let my people know how to make this, right? So I'm sorry you have this cup here. I have tea that I might be sipping on because the weather is really cold where I am right now. If you notice, the background is not the regular regular background, so I actually traveled for the celebration, so that's why you have this. So guys, I'm going to be using this yellow cardboard paper. You can make use of any cardboard or pattern paper of your choice. And then I have my marking pens, I have a pattern master, a tape which I'm going to be using much later because I'm going to need to double the cardboard. And then I have a tape and a nice pair of scissors. So I'm just going to be drafting the patterns in today's video. In another video, we are going to be learning how to put this top together. But if you're conversant with sewing, it shouldn't be a problem to you putting the top together. So without further ado and rumbling, let's get into drafting. We are going to need to draft our basic bodies, but it's going to be a cropped basic bodies. So the length of the top is 20. So I just made this line, which is just going to be my guideline, a starting point for me. So I just made it. Then I have 20 inches in length here. If you do want it longer than 20 inches, you can as well join your cardboard, or you use a wider pattern paper, which will be fine. So this is going to eventually be the point where I'm going to be using. I'm actually making this for a smaller sized person. So what I'm going to be doing now is to mark my shoulder point and my neckline. So the neck is going to be a regular 3 inches and 8 inches shoulder measurement. So we have our 8 inches, which is half of our shoulder, and 3 inches, which is half of our neck width. Then for the neck depth, I'm going to be using 3.5. Then I'm going to come to my shoulder point and come down by 1 inch. Now I'm going to be connecting that 1 inch to the 3-inch neck width measurement. Then I'm going to use the curved side of my neckline, my curve, to just sort of trace out my neck. So you just find how you want your neck to be, and you do that with your curve. Now from this side, I'm going to get my armhole depth. Then that's from the shoulder measurement. I'm coming down by 7.5 inches, which is the armhole measurement. Now I'm going to measure what I have from here to here in total, and I'll go ahead and mark here like so. Then I'm going to be extending that line. Now I'm using this pattern paper or this cardboard to make both the front and the back. So I'm going to be extending the lines, which it will as well serve as my armhole line, on the back side as well. So now I'm going to measure this 8 inch that I have here on my armhole line. Then I'm going to be squaring that out like so. Now I'm going to, the top is actually a free top. It's not going to be with a lot of dart here and there, but I'm going to be adding a side dart. Now I'm not adding that side dart allowance here because I do not have enough file paper to add the dart. So when I'm cutting that, I'm going to extend the length of the front side of my pattern by 1 inch, which is going to be for the dart. So do ensure to do that on your own, because I don't have enough pattern paper. But whatever number of that I'm taking on this cloth, I'm going to be extending the length by 1 inch. So instead of 20 inches, the length of my front bodice is going to be 21. Now I'm going to be inserting the bust measurements for this dress or blouse, which is 10 inches. The bust I'm working with is 40, so I'm marking 10 inches. Then I'm going to be adding half of an inch for ease. Remember I said it's a free top, so I'm just going to, since this is the front bodice, I'm going to make my front curve, armhole curve. So I'll measure that 7.5 here. I'll find half of 7.5, I'll mark that. Then I'll come in by half of an inch. From this side I'll come in half of an inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and use my curve, my French curve, to sort of curve that nicely to meet this point and this point. Then I'll just connect here to this point. You can use your French curve or your ruler, it will still be nice, but then I prefer using my French curve, right? So on this side you're going to be marking, it's actually a crop top, so which means it's not getting to your hip side. So I'm going to be squaring what I have here on this side, because it's a crop top and it does not extend to the hip side of the body. So I'm just going to square out this measurement to this point as well. Now actually there is no need for me to even insert that on this top because it's a free top, but if you do want to insert your dart on this side, you can go ahead and come down by 1 inch. Then you make your dart from there, which I'll mark half inch here, half inch here. Now I did not mark my bust point, that is why I'm saying there's no need for you to add that. But if you do want to add that, you have to mark the distance from your chest, from your shoulder to your bust, like so. For these bodies that I'm working with is 10.5, so I'm just going to roll that, and I'm only adding that on the front side of the shirt. Then the bust pan is 8 inches. Then I'll mark half of the bust pan. Now I'm going to pivot my dart to somewhere around 1.5 inch away from the main bust measurement. Then I'm going to connect this dart that I have here to this point. I'll just go ahead and connect like so. So this is our side bust dart actually. So when you come to cut the front, you extend the length of just the front by 1 inch because you took 1 inch dart on this side. Now this is it. I'm not just done with the front. I was close to saying this is it about the front, but it is not. So for our tie front now, I'm going to grab another cardboard and extend this side so that I can make the tie front. But before then, let's go ahead and draft the back. When we're done drafting the back, we'll just go ahead and do that. So for the back side of the shirt, I'm just going to make another line like so, which will be the starting point for the back for me. So the line does not necessarily mean anything, it's just a point where I'm using to start the front of the back. So for the back, if you do want the back, for me, since it's a free top, I'm not going to be adding any slit on the back or zip or anything, but I'm just going to go ahead and mark the regular 3 inches neckline and 8 inches shoulder point like so. Then on the shoulder point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So what we are doing basically is just like we are replicating the front, just with a simple, with 1 or 2 changes here and there. That's what we are doing. So I'll still mark that 8 inches here, then I'll square it out. I'll square it out like so. Now for the back, it does not have any dart, so I'm just going to mark my bust measurement plus that half of an inch that I have here. Then I'm going to find the midpoint of the shoulder and just mark that point. Now remember, on the shoulder on the front we went in by half, but on the back we are not going to be doing that, because that is how on your regular bodies that is what you want to get. The front is usually deeper than the back body, so armhole. So this is what I have on the shoulder on the back, and then the neck on the back is shallower than the front. Remember, the front we went by 3.5, but for the back we are just going to be doing 1 inch. Then I'm just going to go ahead and connect with my French curve. Just going to go ahead and mark. So this is the neckline for the back. Then I'm going to just mark what I have here on this side as well, so I can square it out. So I'm just going to square that out, and this is it about the back. Now for the tie details, I'm just going to tape a fresh pattern paper, and I'll come back and we'll do that. We've taped this extra paper on the front side for us to do the detail on the front. Now you remember that 1 inch for our darts that we have here. I'm just going to go ahead and add that extension that I told you to add, since I have enough space now to work. So I'm just going to add and extend that line. So the front, for the front is 21 and the back is 20, because when you take in this dart, the length is eventually going to be 20. Now on this point I'm going to go up, that's from the 20-inch point, I'm going to go up by 2 inches, depending if the client wants their body, their tummy region revealed or not. That's what determines what you do here. Then I'm going to go in from here by 1 inch, that's from the 20 inches length. Then I'm going to be using my French curve to just sort of connect those points, because it's going to be an open detail. Now the extension that you have, or what you want to use to tie, it depends on how long you want it. So no matter the length you want, you can totally go ahead and do that. So from these 20 inches I'm going to mark 10 inch, so that's going to be the length of my tie front detail. So the whatever I'm going to tie in front is going to be 10 inches, and I'm most likely going to be using a chiffon material to sew this top, so that's why I don't want it too long. But if you're going to be using a material that is stiff, please do it short, don't make it too long, it might not look fine. So just go ahead and do whatever you want. If you're using crepe material as well, you can do it long, but it totally depends on you, the choice is yours. So now I'm going to connect this point to somewhere around here. I'm just going to make a straight line here like so. Now I'll be cutting out this detail out, so I'm going to be marking this side, this point here. I'll be marking 1 inch here on this side, but as I progress it's going to be wider than 1 inch. Now this is where our hem is on this top, so I'm just going to rule a line on that point just to guide me on what I'm doing, not like it's that necessary. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to sort of make a curve that comes to meet this point here. You know how we made that leotard video? It's a similar procedure. That if you've not seen that video, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description box and also up for you to see. So this is what you want to get. I just use dotted lines before I go ahead and trace it off with my marker. So you can see this is what we have at this point. So at this point we are done drafting our bodice pattern. Now you can go ahead and add 1/2 inch sewing allowance all around your bodies, including this side, because you're going to need to hem that side. So you go ahead and add 1/2 inch everywhere on your bodies, right? So I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll just go ahead and do mine off camera, and then I'll come over to show you how to do the sleeve. So here are our patterns. You can see the front side. I cut out this side. So now for the sleeve, I'm going to be using this side of it to make the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I'm going to be measuring both the front armhole and the back armhole. So I'll be measuring the side, the inner side, not the sewing allowance side. That's the main part of the sleeve, is where I'm going to be measuring. Don't forget, this is half of the front. This is half of the sleeve. So I have 9.5 for the front sleeve. Then I'm going to continue to the back sleeve, like so. So by the time I continue, I have 18.5, both the front and the back sleeve. So now what I'm going to do is to keep this front, the body's measurements. Don't forget, guys, this side is on fold, so we are going to make this symbol just so we know it's on fold, and the back as well, that depends on you, is also on fold. So we are going to keep these bodies aside and keep that measurement that we have, the 18.5, aside as well. Then we come to draft the sleeve. Now you're going to be finding the radius of the back, that 18.5 inches radius. You'll be finding that by dividing 18.5 by 6, 18.5 divide by 6.28. So that's how to find the radius of your sleeve, or the radius of any circle at all. Is 18 point sleeve round is 18.5, so we hit 18.5 divide by 6.28 on our calculator, and we have 3.08888, and that. So if you have 3.08, we are going to, because 8 is above 5, we are going to be rounding it up to 3.1. So at this corner, we are going to be assuming that this cardboard is folded in 4, just like you would fold your handkerchief, or how you would make pattern for any flay, right? So we'll mark from this edge here. I'm going to mark 3.1. So I'll be marking 3.1 round this edge that I have here. I'm marking my 3.1. If you have a compass, you can go ahead and just connect that to your tape and just make a simple rounded shape. 3.1, 3.1 round. So when I'm done doing that, I'm going to connect like so. So this is our radius. Now the length, remember we are working with 3 layers of sleeve. So the length of the sleeve, the longest is the one we are going to be working on first. So for the longest one, I'm going to be making it 9 inches. So I'll just go ahead and mark 9 inches round. Just like I did to the radius. Then I'm just going to go ahead and connect as well. So this is the longest of our sleeve, like so. Then we are going to be marking the next sleeve, which would be 2 inches shorter than that. So I'm making it 7 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and do 7 round as well. Then we'll do this shortest sleeve, which will be 2 inches up as well. So for the last sleeve, I'm just going to make it 5 inches. Now for the curtain, I'm going to be leaving half of an inch from this radius side upwards. That will be the sewing allowance. So I'm just going to mark half of an inch, which I'm going to be using as my sewing allowance. Then I'm going to be cutting out my sleeve from the length of the longest sleeve. Now the reason why I'm cutting it like this is because I do not want to use so much pattern paper. So by the time you cut out the both long sleeves, the longest part of the sleeves, when you cut it out, you just cut out here and cut the medium one, cut this side, then you cut the small one, right? So I'm just going to cut this side like so. Then you just go ahead and indicate why you have these lines like this. Make sure you indicate that, and this is your sleeve pattern. So I'll just write sleeves 3 tire. You just do that, right? And then this is it about our patterns. So I'll just go ahead and bring my other patterns for you to see. So by the time we are done, this is what our pattern will look like, right? You can see this is our front bodice, the sleeve, and the back. It's about our blouse. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video up on the channel. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media pages, James on Instagram and James on Facebook. And don't also forget to remain somatized. See you in my next video, guys. Bye.